We're undergoing an incredible space race. Unlike past occasions between superpowers, this is one between startups.
Everyone's trying to get ahead of everyone in terms of technology.
Inside this Adelaide warehouse, plans are being made for a mission to the moon.
So this is our Spider. This is what Australia is going to be sending to the moon.
Matt Pearson's company Fleet makes satellites and sensors like the Spider that can detect the location of minerals below the Earth's surface.
We're shipping sensors all over the world, exploring for critical minerals like copper, lithium, nickel, cobalt.
So this one's just the simple sandwich, so we've got a very...
They have big ambitions, even setting their sights on plans to mine the Moon and Mars after winning a $4 million grant from the Albanese government in June. Their plan is to land on the Moon in 2025, but mining the minerals will still be many years away.
The team is working day and night to deliver this. We are scanning the subsurface for resources, whether that's critical minerals or water on the Moon and Mars.
While Matt and his team are looking to the stars, experts say space technology has crucial applications here.
The space sector is critical to all of our efforts on Earth. Every day you use GPS to get around a city. If you don't have space, so much of our modern economy just stops.
Space technology is also increasingly tied to national defence. This past weekend at AUSMIN talks, Australia and the US inked a deal on increased cooperation in space, but were light on details.
Space domain awareness will form part of the cooperation that we engage in between our two countries in terms of force posture arrangements in this area. That'll probably be the extent of what any of us will ever say about what else we do in respect of cooperation involving space.
Space underpins modern militaries. There is no precision guided weapons without space. GPS guides bombs onto targets.
Despite these announcements, some in the industry are concerned about what they say is a lack of government support for the sector.
I think there was good government support in the last party, and there were a lot of programs that were being rolled out.
A few weeks ago, the Albanese government axed a $1.2 billion national space mission for Earth observation, along with 3 other space programs which were announced by the previous Morrison government.
This is an industry-wide hit. Government support for the space industry needs to be bipartisan. And I think that the problem that we've got at the moment is that it is now being treated as a partisan issue.
Defence analyst Beck Shrimpton from the Australian Strategic Policy Institute has slammed the move.
Confidence has gone out of the sector, which means that across the board, companies are not attracting investment.
I find it hard to believe, based on the way that the industry is growing and the way that it's getting the support that it is and the mechanisms that we're setting up, that type of characterisation could actually stand the test of reality.
Adam Gilmore's rocket company is busy preparing for launch in a few months, but he's also felt the effect of the cuts.
I think the industry was very disappointed with the cuts. I remember when the National Space Mission was cut, I had a very busy phone that day. There was a lot of distraught people in the industry, so that was a pretty dark couple of days.
Well, the program was announced in the dying days of the Morrison government. A 9-year government decided in its last budget, weeks before the election, that it would put forward this program. No tenders were let, no contracts entered into, and we were left with a big budget deficit, huge amount of debt, and we have to make tough decisions.
If you look around the rest of the world, the government is always, in a successful space economy, an early customer. So they'll give the space industry the first deals, they'll kind of lead the way on, where the technology is, and then the industry can springboard on top of that to reach out into the globe and get more and more business. SpaceX is a great example of that. Their first big customer was NASA. And so that's what we need out of the government.
I think the literacy, the understanding of space and the opportunity is not there. I have to wonder about whether space is in the right portfolio right now, because it is not getting any attention at all from Minister Husic. Quite the opposite.
Ed Husick says the government is directing other funds towards the sector in the wake of the cuts.
Look, I understand that people won't be fans of cutting $1 billion of funding that was going to be directed towards their sector. I completely appreciate that. But I've got to make calls as a minister and as part of a broader government that is trying to rein in a budget deficit.
For many of us, it was a dream, and we're sad to see it go.
The end of that dream has left some, like Professor Alan Duffy, concerned about the future of the fledgling industry in Australia.
The space industry is currently in limbo. We have been awaiting large investment decisions, postponing our own investment as a result, and now it's become clear that certain projects aren't going to happen. Industry is having to decide whether there's a future sector that they want to invest to grow within.
You know, you can get denser, as you can
However,
see.
Fleet's co-founder Matt Pearson says the industry should look to private investment and not rely on the government.
The Australian space industry is really commercially led. The agency's been set up to fuel a commercial space industry, which is very different from how other agencies have done things in the past. And that's what everyone wants in future, is a commercial space industry rather than a government-led space industry.
I'm optimistic that we can work with the government and convince them of the need, and I think that's going to be my mission and the mission of some of the other space companies in the next 12 months.